Hey, Dan, hey, we lost.
Straight. Why don't we get started?
Sounds good. Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our Municipal Managers update via Zoom today. My name is Pam Kelly. I'm president of the Chamber of Commerce for Greater Montgomery County, and we are really thrilled to have all of our participants and especially our managers here to join us this morning to share all the great things that are happening in our municipalities. Before we get started, I wanted to make sure that we gave a shout out to our sponsors. These programs really couldn't be put together without their support. And so I'd like to introduce to you at this time, Mike Coakley from Kreischer Miller. Mike, are you with us?
I am, Pam. Thank you. Good morning. As Pam said, I'm Mike Coakley. I'm an audit director at Kreischer Miller. We are a full service public accounting and business advisory firm located in Horsham, but working 100% remotely these days, like a lot of service providers out there. We serve the local middle market in the greater Philadelphia area, privately held companies. And we've been supporters of the Chamber for many years, and specifically this program. And we thank the municipal managers that are on the call and looking forward to the updates. Thank you.
Great, thanks, Mike. And also sponsoring today's event and the Municipal Managers program is McMahon Associates. So Dan, maybe would you share a few words about McMahon?
Good morning. I just want to echo what Michael said. We've had the privilege of co-sponsoring this with Mike and his team for many years. It's a great event, and our membership really, truly want to hear what's happening on the local level, if you will. For folks who are not aware of McMahon and what I do with Tracer, McMahon's a full service traffic engineering firm. And I am on the Tracer end of the business, which is an asset management software system that the municipal government uses to manage their assets throughout their municipality. We have several clients on the line here today, and we're thrilled to support them any way we can. So thank you on behalf of the Chamber, and thank you on behalf of McMahon for joining us today. Pam?
Thank you, Dan. I'd also like to recognize members of our board of directors that have joined us this morning. Our board chair, Duncan Reed from Edward Jones Investments, Nanette Carney, our treasurer from the Carney Group, Mike Coakley, who you met from Kreischer Miller, is our immediate past chair. Dan Reevy, again, is an executive board member from McMahon Associates. Allison Gilmore, executive board member from Doylestown Health. And directors, John Ernst from Lansdale Borough, Stan Braverman from Braverman Associates, Dave Freeman from QNB Bank, and Chris Shalor from Christo IT. Again, welcome, and we always appreciate when our board is able to join us for events. I'd also like to give a shout out to our visionary members that are on the call today. Marty Graff from Best Insurance Pro, Stan Braverman from Braverman Associates, Chris Shalor, Christo IT Services, Lisa Martin from Costco Wholesale, Allison Gilmore from Doylestown Health, Karen Honeybone and Julia Davis from Dunlop SLK, Duncan Reed from Edward Jones Investments, Mike Coakley from Kreischer Miller, John Ernst from Lansdale Borough, Dan Reevy from McMahon Associates, Melissa Brindley, Dave Freeman, and April Donahue from QNB Bank, Maria Basaggio from Sage Insights, Liz Herman from Sherpa Financial, and Lee Barry from the Lee Barry team of Keller Williams Real Estate. So again, welcome to all of our visionary members for being with us this morning. Before I turn it over to our moderator, Dan Reevy, again, I'd like to put out a plug. I want to remind everyone that we still have plenty of boxes of PPE. I know that Ryan had sent a message out to all of our managers that if there's any way you can help us get the word out, we're trying to get this into the hands of all of our businesses in the county with 100 employees and less. So we would greatly appreciate any help in sending that information out. And if you haven't gotten your boxes, to stop by and get that. Dan, I guess will you share? I'm the timekeeper, but with that, okay. I will hand it over to you. And again, thank you, everyone.
Good morning again, everyone. We're going to ask each manager to keep their remarks to the 5.
Stan, you went mute again. Dan, you went mute.
There we go. Sorry about that. Anyway, good morning again. We're going to ask all the managers to keep their remarks at the 5-minute time frame. We're going to ask any members if they have any questions to please use the chat service, and then we will ask at the end of the presentation the specific questions for specific managers. We have, I believe, 11 or 12 of us today, so we want to make sure that we give everyone ample time. And we're excited to hear about all the updates happening in this area of our footprint. So that being said, one other thing, if you could please, when you're not speaking, keep your mic muted, or Pam will be able to manage that herself. And we are recording this event, which we will put on our social media sites as well. So let's get started. We're going to start with alphabetical order and welcoming first from Ambler Borough. Say hello to Borough Manager Mary Aversa. Hello, Mary. How are you? It's been a while since I've seen you last.
I know it is. Good morning. How are you? Well, I guess we can all say it's been a very interesting year, to say the least, and it doesn't look like it's going to be ending anytime soon. In light of everything that's going on, I feel like we've still been able to really maintain our downtown. It's been successful. We've actually had quite a few businesses coming into town. We have a new coffee shop, a vegan cafe, a candy shop, a juice pot, a smoothie place, and we're actually going to see some development down as you enter town. The gas station that's kind of been an eyesore for quite a few years is going to be a bank. So we do have a lot of development, a lot of people coming in. We have lost a few businesses due to the pandemic. It's very unfortunate, but we're happy to see, and it's healthy to see that there's new ones coming in. Some other projects we have going on is we do have John Zaharchek, who had done the Bueller House quite a few years ago and really started to revitalize our corridor, is building apartment units, 115 apartments. So that's underway, and that's very exciting to see that coming in. Trying to think, we have a new park. The borough was given a piece of property in front of an old CVS. It kind of really was failing. The lot was in bad shape. We were able to get some grant money, and we are putting a new pocket park in there to have some outside events, which is very exciting. I'm trying to think what else we got. So that would be Ambler Square. We expect that to start in 2021. We're excited about the gas station being gone, the apartments, the new businesses coming in, and all of our events for this year were canceled. Usually we have a lot to talk about and a lot going on, but due to the pandemic, our 2-3 events a month are not happening. We have extended our restaurants. We usually do restaurant week twice a year. We've done that every month now. We've done restaurant weekend to try and support our businesses because they are struggling. We feel it's going to get a lot darker. Our last one was last weekend. It was a little cold, but we still had a good turnout. Small Business Saturday, we are making that Small Business Month. We're promoting a lot of our businesses this month, trying to get people to come in, shop small, and support our businesses, but we are staying away from any big events. We had a couple suggestions of having some different activities to draw people in, but I think the restaurant owners, the businesses just want to keep it small, limited people in their shops, so they're not really interested in having any other events going on to promote them. So it's been a trying year, but I think we're hanging in there and we're doing okay. We just hope that this vaccine gets here soon and we see some changes.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
You have a great town. My office being in Upper Dublin Township in Fort Washington, we go over to your neck of the woods a lot for lunch. So your downtown has really done a wonderful transformation over the last several years, and I congratulate you and your leadership for that.
Thank you.
Let's move on to the eastern part of the county a little bit. And another guy I haven't seen in a while, it's actually tag team here with East Nardin Township, Bob Hart and Jeff Winterbottom. Robert, you there? Hello, Robert. I saw you sign in. You're not, maybe you're muted. Well, we'll come back to Robert and Jeff in a minute. Why don't we move on? We'll go. Bill Walker regrettably wasn't able to attend today, but in his stead is Mr. Horsham Township himself, Mr. Larry Burns. Larry, you there this morning?
Good morning. You can hear me, right?
Yes, sir. There you are.
Good, good. Yeah, Bill Walker could not be in attendance today. He asked me to make the presentation on his behalf. I serve as Director of Community and Economic Development for the township. I'm also Deputy Director of the Horsham Land Redevelopment Authority, the group that oversees the base redevelopment efforts. And recently was also my other role with the township is Treasurer and Deputy Director of the MIRIA, the Military Installation Remediation and Infrastructure Authority. Prior to COVID-19, our budget has been for the last several years under stress. COVID-19 has only accelerated some of that. The township is currently looking at proposing a budget for 2021 of $18.27 million. We're talking about potentially a 1 mil park tax increase, which would increase the total millage of the township from 1.2 to 1.3 mils. Per household, that would be about $18.76 a year. You know, our budget, we've looked ahead and certainly delayed some projects, certainly have not filled non-essential roles that might be open. We've reduced seasonal workforce and again, delayed some projects in general. Our capital projects, we have a ton going on in the township. We have Blair Mill Road widening project starting probably next summer. That's phase 2, which will concentrate on Blair Mill Road and Maryland Avenue and Whitmer. It'll expand the capacity of that intersection. And long-term, we hope to extend Blair Mill Road to 2 lanes in each direction with a center turn lane the entire length from Route 63 to Easton Road. In addition, we've got the Horsham and Limekiln Pike intersection improvement project, which this year we'll be looking at right-of-way acquisition. Next year, and in 2022, we'll build that out. We've got a street lighting project for the Pennsylvania Business Park. We're installing 78 streetlights along Gibraltar, Prudential, and several other of the roads. We'll also continue our sidewalks in the business park that we've been doing for the last couple of years. We've got some traffic signal upgrades that we're planning, as well as trail extensions and, you know, our usual annual paving projects. On economic development, I was very pleased in March to deliver for the township a new brochure, a business attraction brochure. Unfortunately, I was not able to have my broker's breakfast, which I had planned in March, to be able to distribute those to commercial brokers in the area. I have sent that out to nationally to Site Selector, guild members and other folks that we've tried to solicit the township and have them come for business. We have a new business in town, Myonex, which is building a 69,000 square foot corporate headquarters in our Horsham Business Center. It's 13 acres that Brandywine Realty Trust never built out. It's sat vacant for years, and we're very happy to have Myonex come to our township. BET Investments is building the 555 Flats, which is 256 upscale apartment units at Whitmer and Drescher Road. That's going along very well, and I know currently leasing. We have an indoor soccer facility, which is currently being built on Keith Valley Road. In addition, dirt will be moving soon at Limekiln Golf Club, which Toll Brothers will be developing about 500 active adult units there. In addition, we're pleased to have Abington Jefferson Nursing School has just opened their new campus at 300 Lakeside Drive. As it relates to the base, there's plenty of investigation continuing at the base. We are pleased there's a property between Girard and Columbia on Easton Road. It's about 8 acres that will be transferred this year as part of our parks. It'll go through a public benefit conveyance. We'll pay $1 for it, and the National Park Service will convey it to us probably before the end of the year. I think that's all I have.
Lots going on in Horsham. It's bittersweet hearing about Limekiln Golf Club, but it looks like you're going to have a robust development there, and Toll does an outstanding job. So,
yes, they do.
Robert, are you back yet, or Mr. Hart? Hearing that he's not, we'll move forward then. My friend from Lower Gwinnett Township, always a pleasure to see Craig McAnally. Craig, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I guess I don't have as much exciting news as Ambler and Horsham, but we're not seeing any uptick in commercial real estate or any building. We actually lost a handful of businesses from the pandemic in Lower Gwinnett. What's going on here, you know, I guess the one good thing is there's less traffic in the area because of the pandemic. So we have two projects going on. One's a PennDOT project for 202, which has 202 all ripped up. So I think we're getting less calls on that because there's less people on the road. That's a 6-year project, $40 million contract to Morrissey. The township is doing our main intersection at Norristown Road, Sumneytown Pike, and Bethlehem Pike. We're doing an intersection improvement there. We started phase 1, which is a culvert extension. That'll be done by the end of this year. And then construction should begin on phase 2 with widening and restriping at starting the end of 21 on that. We did partner with Springhouse Innovation Park, which is the old Dow Chemical site. The MRA group purchased that and is redeveloping or repurposing the buildings over there. We went out with a grant for there. They just finished an outdoor fitness court open to the public, so anyone can come over and work out outside. Bad timing, but there's going to be a grand opening in the spring, but it is open now. The Gwinnett Mercy University bought the old Merck site. That's in Lower Gwinnett, 154-acre site. All plans have been put on hold there. They're looking to build a nursing facility or a nursing educational piece for Gwinnett Mercy on that site. The proposed budget went out to the board a couple of weeks ago. We don't have a tax increase for 2021 proposed. Last year we had to cut about 45% of our capital projects, just worrying about the revenues coming in for taxes and building permits and such. So kind of quiet. Hopefully everyone is surviving this and the businesses are thriving, but we're not seeing that in Lower Gwinnett. So thank you.
Thank you, Craig. We appreciate the update. You had a lot going on the last several years with the new development at your 5 Points intersection. My wife still goes to arpeggios all the time, and yep. You got a lot of great things in your town. So moving on to Lower. Thank you again. Moving on to Lower Salford. I can honestly say the brains of the operations with us today. Holly, you on the line with?
Oh, you're so kind, Dan. So kind.
Holly Hosterman, who is in leadership over in Lower Salford. Joe Chakowski had a previous personal commitment today, couldn't make it. So, Holly, before we begin, there was a question at our last meeting relative to 113, and I think it was right near the Bay Pony Inn, that traffic signalization. Is that still an ongoing thing, or is that a remedy in place, or what?
Funny you should ask. We were just talking about that yesterday in the Board of Supervisors work session. That street, or that 5 Points is what we call it here at the township. That area, that stoplight is still, it's really close, but there are a couple of items that need to continue to be replaced. And I'm thinking in the next couple of weeks, there's going to be like the interactive light, so that right now they're timed. A couple of them are timed. So everything will be interactive to the point that it will recognize cars and how many are there, so that the lights will stay on longer for the amount of traffic that's backed up at the signal, those types of things. But it's very close to being completely completed.
Terrific. Thank you for that. Now we'll let you move forward with your prepared remarks.
Yeah, there is a lot going on in our township. I kind of broke it down into residential and mixed use and industrial. Right now we have a mixed use development going in as you come into Harleysville on Route 63. right at the beginning of the township there. It is a development called Mainland Point. It is being developed by Spring Hill Realty, which is Brian Hunsberger and his partners. That development will see quite a number of things. There will be a new traffic signal there where Quarry Road comes into Main Street, and that will also include a turn lane for Quarry Road people, so they'll be able to get out onto Main Street much more easily than they do now because the traffic is kind of crazy. And then Quarry Road will extend over 63 into the new development. That new development will include 17 lot line homes at the back of the property, which will butt up to the existing Buckingham Circle development. And after that, in the center of the development, there will be 5 12-unit apartments. Upscale apartments will be in the center of the development, and the front of the development that faces Main Street will be commercial. Right now, there is a super Wawa going in, and the next thing that has a permit is the Taco Bell. And woohoo, we get some tacos in our township. And there are also additional pad sites available in that development. The township is not aware of who's going into those additional pad sites at the moment. We've only received the 2 permits for the Super Wawa and the Taco Bell. We have a new subdivision, actually 2 new subdivisions going in right now. They've almost gotten final approval from the Board of Supervisors. One of them is on Oak Drive, right across from the post office, and the other one is on Maple Avenue. Both of them are being done by the Metropolitan Development Group. You may remember last year, I let everyone know that these 2 developments had quite a bit of controversy, quite a bit of interest from our residents with concerns for how many houses, what type of houses, can the sewer authority handle additional capacity? Can the schools handle additional children? All of those things have been worked out, and those 2 developments are very close to being into breaking ground. There will be 72 units over on Oak. There's 19 twins and 8 triplexes, and the development on Maple will have 48 single family homes. What's great about the development on Maple is that there is about a 20-acre section of open space that already is adjacent to an existing park in our township, which is Alderfer Park. The developer is planning to dedicate that open space to us, and we will be making the park larger, and we'll probably have some additional field space. Right now we're looking at maybe 3 fields, which we have a lot of sporting organizations that vie for field use in our township. So that will be a really, really good benefit of that development. We have a new industrial building coming in at the corner of Wombold Road and Fretz Road, right where the Almac pharmaceutical company is, just a little bit up the road. It's a 151,000 square foot warehouse. So we are not sure who's going to be occupying that warehouse yet. We've tried to get the developer to let us know, and that has kind of been under wraps. So we'll keep you posted on that. Look on our website for, as soon as we know what's going to go in there, we'll put it on the website.
Ollie, you're at the 1 minute mark, okay?
Okay. Unfortunately, we did lose a very large business this year. We didn't lose the business didn't go under, but the Harleysville Insurance Company, which was which is Nationwide now. Nationwide shuttered that building. So we have, everyone's working from home. Everyone is now remote. As of October 31st, that building is no longer being used for a workspace. So we have the largest building in Lower Salford Township is currently vacant. We are not aware of what type of plans or if there's anything going to be happening in there, but that is vacant. So, and we have a couple of bridge replacements coming up, Alderfer Road and Camp Wawa Bridge. Camp Wawa is starting in January, so that's a much needed improvement. That bridge has been closed for almost 7 years. So that's happening as well. So, and the township did cancel all their events as well this year. The Country Fair Days did not happen. We didn't have fireworks. We didn't have Heckler Fest. As far as keeping businesses going, we do have outdoor dining. I know it's getting cold, so hopefully the groups of people that are doing the outdoor dining can figure out some sort of additional way to keep open, and lots of takeout and lots of drive-through, that's for sure. So that's what's happening.
Thank you, Holly, very much. We really appreciate it.
You're
You're right. I live in Hatfield, and Lower Southford, Harleysville's got a lot of activity. So continue
I
success.
could go on, yeah.
Pass along
I
my
could go
best
on
to
for
Joe,
another
please.
15 minutes.
I hear you. Moving down the road to the Turnpike. Hello, Karen Weiss. How are you?
Good, Dan. How are you?
So nice to see you again.
Yeah, thank you. Nice to be seen.
Tell us what's happening in Plymouth Township these days.
Well, I've been working really hard on this building renovation. Our building here is about 50 years old. We started this a number of years ago because we did look at the possibility of selling our sanitary sewer system and decided not to do that. And I know a lot of townships, that's how they get the money to fix their buildings. So because we did that, we have a lot of sewer projects that we're working on internally here. And we will borrow money to do the building. We felt that that was just going to help out our residents because it'll keep their sewer bills lower and their total disposable income less than had we sold to another sewer company. But with that, our taxes are still going to be less next year. They're going to, council just decided the other night, we're going to increase our millage 0.1%, but it's still going to be lower than it was in 1990. I mean, the taxes here hadn't gone up. Actually, they went down in 1996 and stayed there until last year. So we will have an increase for next year. But I think taxes are still really great in Plymouth. They're building a new Colonial Middle School right next to the township building. I think that was an $86 million project. I think that they're probably a year or so out before the students go back into the school there. Other than that, for development, we did open up the very first assisted living facility in Plymouth. It's called Arbor Square. It's off of Plymouth Road down by the interchange area. It's 200 units of assisted living and memory loss care. We have Sal Payone building 79 new homes, single family homes also on Plymouth Road near the Plymouth Elementary School. Beambo Bakery is building a new distribution center. They stopped baking bread in Plymouth there when it was Stroman years ago, but they are building a new distribution center. And the old 7-Up factory is being repurposed as well for a very large distribution center. There's trucks you see on the road all day, every day, which name I cannot release. The Plymouth Meeting Mall owner, Preet, they wanted to build, well, 400 to 800 apartments on the old IKEA office building site that sits on the mall property, or it's a separate parcel, but sits right adjacent. And council was not in favor of that, at least not that many. See so many of the malls these days getting the residential, component to it. So since they're having trouble with council, they filed a variance application, which the first night of hearing was held just Monday night. They think it's going to take several nights to get through all the testimony, but they applied for a 10-story, 503-unit apartment building at the Plymouth Meeting Mall. So I know the township is opposed to that project for that many units. Back to the sewer, our sanitary sewer in that vicinity can't even handle that kind of flows coming through the pipes that it needs to go through to get down to the plant. The mall is also suffering, I think, on the inside, but still doing fine on the outside. The outside stores that you don't have to go inside the mall to get to, the Whole Foods, Boscov's, Miller's, the new Miller's Ale House, they're doing well. They're building a new Shake Shack. So they continue to have a lot of restaurants in that mall, but not a lot of retail. They do have a new Talbot's outlet. I think the ladies are interested, which is actually a pretty nice store. Other than that, I guess things are kind of quiet.
Thank you, Karen. I was interested
Sure.
to hear about what's happening at the mall. And yeah, now that other apartment complex off of that you see off the turnpike, that's also in Plymouth Township, right?
Well, which one? The park apartments are?
Yes.
Yeah, so, it's interesting. That was 398 apartments on a 20-acre piece of property in 7 buildings.
Right.
And the mall, Preet wants to put the 503 units on a 6-acre parcel
Yeah.
with all
Good
the
luck with
parking. Good luck with that. I just don't see it. I don't even know. This latest proposal has parking under the building. And
There's no one in there.
and the
Really?
the 400 units was going to have the parking in the middle of the building and the apartments surrounding us, a 5-story parking structure in the middle of the site, and then the apartments would surround it, all in one building.
That's
I'm not really
that's
sure what-
aggressive.
It's too aggressive. It's too dense.
Right.
It's just too dense. So I don't think council's opposed to some residential, maybe 200 apartments there, but that would be probably the most.
Terrific.
Yeah.
It's funny, for us who have done this series for several years, I can remember a few years ago where the economic activity was rural farms and Wawas. So we're hearing that there's other forms of development going on in our serving area, which is good for commerce, good for business. As long as it's smart growth, we support it. So, and we know each municipality has their own challenges, but you got the right folks at the helm to manage all that. So thank you, Karen, for that. Moving on to my daughter's favorite place to watch fireworks, or used to be the favorite place to watch fireworks, Skipback Township. Mr. Oleniak, good morning. How are you?
Good. I'm Chris Oleniak, Township Manager in Skipback. Yeah, unfortunately, because of COVID this year, our annual fireworks, which is a pretty popular event in Township, had to be canceled this year. Again, we're hoping to start it up again next year, and hopefully that happens, but I guess we'll wait and see on that. COVID hasn't hit our village shop area all that hard. Most of our businesses are doing okay. We did have a couple closed, but we do have a few new ones filling back in, including a new Mexican restaurant that opened yesterday. So we're pretty excited about that. The one thing in the last year that the supervisors have continued to do is to emphasize pedestrian connections to our village shop area. So they've extended some sidewalk as well as some new trail connections into our existing trail network, which helps people in town not have to drive in and try to find somewhere to park, because parking is sometimes one of our issues in the village, but they can walk into the village now with a lot of our new connections, including a pedestrian bridge that we finished the end of last year. With our village, again, a lot of our restaurants have come up with innovative outdoor dining options, and we're hoping that can continue for a little bit longer, but we haven't seen any of the tents or anything like that yet. So we'll see what everyone comes up with and whether they can continue to do outdoor dining here as it gets colder. Another project that's in the pipeline right now is the state police. So the state police have their barracks currently in the township. They are working on a brand new barracks, training center, and indoor shooting range, just basically right on the other side of where they are now on 113. It's the next street over. So yeah, it's going to be a barracks building, offices, and then the training center and shooting range, which we hope will bring in quite a few outside agencies, police agencies, to use for trainings. That hopefully will bring quite a few people into our village and for shops and restaurants during that. Our next kind of project that's in the pipeline, really, it's the most exciting one. It's an indoor track and field facility. So this would be a facility that could be used for pro events, college events, high school indoor track events. It would have a track inside that actually has hydraulic lifts to lift the outside banks up to create a regulation pro and college indoor track. Basically, what we are understanding is the nearest facility of this type is in upstate New York. So this would really be a nice facility for not only just Skipback, but also for this part of the Northeast. So what we've been told, and they have gone through the conditional use approval process and have gotten conditional use approval. and they're just now working on the final submission for land development. And so what we've been told is that the events will last several days, usually Thursday through Saturday or Sunday, and can draw thousands of people over those days. And so that's really exciting for the township and our shops and our village restaurants, bringing quite a few people into town. So that is the facility kind of that we're the most excited about. Hopefully it comes in very soon. I know the pandemic really slowed them down, but my understanding is they are still moving forward with that. So as part of kind of the state police and this track and field facility, we're working with our traffic engineer to kind of do a traffic evaluation of that Route 113, Route 73 corridor there, including the intersection of 113 and 73, to see how we can improve those intersections and those roads, especially with these new facilities coming in. So that's kind of what's going on right now in Skipback. Otherwise, everything else has been kind of quiet. So
Terrific. Thank you, Chris. Just want to remind everyone, if you're not speaking, if you can mute your phones, it would be greatly appreciated. And I don't want to forget Robert Hart. Robert, are you with us yet? Want to give Robert one more opportunity. Robert or Jeff, you're there? I guess not. Something must have came up. So Chris, thanks an awful lot. We appreciate it. Moving on to my neighboring town and a neighbor, if you will, from Tolmenson Township. Rob Ford, good morning.
Good morning.
Haven't seen you in the pub lately.
Yeah, no, it's life is great comparative, relatively speaking. I think Tolmenson has had the same experience as I assume most municipalities had. 2020 has been a crazy year. I don't want to complain too much because I know the businesses have probably been challenged more than the municipalities through this whole era. I guess when things hit in the spring, we're all running around pretty crazy. We locked our doors. We never stopped working. We reopened them in May to the public after doing some improvements and some of the social distancing. Actually, it was a good time in the sense that we got a lot of stuff done in our parks because those weren't being used by the organized sports. We did stop all our capital purchases. We put them on hold in March because we weren't sure how this whole thing would impact our revenue stream. But in Tolmenson, and I think maybe in this part of Montgomery County, we found that our revenues were doing fairly well. We were meeting our finance committee every month and checking that. And for Tolmenson, we don't have a business privilege tax, so we weren't impacted with businesses slowing down or having to shut down for a while. We found out our property tax and our earned income tax stayed steady through this whole thing. And that might be the nature of the residents in this area that are employed either by pharmaceuticals or school districts or whatever, but the sky didn't fall down revenue-wise. The other big crisis, I guess, was in August. We had all experienced a tropical storm that came through here. And at least in Tolmenson and Skipback area, I heard there were 9 inches of rain in 4 hours. We did have a young girl that drowned in that event. That was a tragedy. So that was another event that we had to deal with. Development-wise, I think Tolmenson, and I heard Holly mention in Lower Salford, I think we're seeing this as a lot of development of warehouses in the area. We have a project. Well, obviously, Amazon opened up their fulfillment center here about a year or two ago, and they've been very busy. That was an existing building, but we did have a project that was approved in August up at Wombold and Allentown for almost a 600,000 square foot warehouse facility. Again, like some others, we don't know who's going in there yet, but they're building it. I know there's another large one in Hatfield on 309 that's under construction now too. I think what we're seeing is the way we're all shopping online and products got to be moved closer to where we are as they get delivered. We're seeing the warehouse development. I think the Turnpike and the oncoming 309 connector is helping to stir that interest in this area. For development, we have, it's not too exciting compared to some other areas. That we have the Firestone store being finished up here up by the Chick-fil-A and Wawa on 40-foot road. The Tomenson Shopping Center at Allentown and 40-foot road that's been kind of a ghost village for the last 5 to 10 years. That was bought at auction a few years ago by Philadelphia Suburban Development Corporation. And you might have seen it driving by that they've been replacing some of the facades, trying to get that geared up. They did sign Planet Fitness will be going into the old Gennardi store there at the shopping center. And I would look at it as kind of a unofficial phase 1 of that redevelopment. They're going to come in and re-landscape the shopping center and do something in that portion. He had said last fall that they plan to have the shopping center fully filled by July 2021. I think that's a little aggressive at this point, but the good news is at least it's starting to get some life brought back into it. For coffee drinkers, Starbucks will be built. They got their record plans in 2 days ago, so they're getting ready to go to construction. It's up by the Lansdale interchange next to the Marriott Hotel, and they also have a drive-through. I mentioned the 309 connector. Those of us in this area, that's been a big project they've been talking about for years back in the Leo Bagley days, and it seemed like it was always so far off for the second phase. And what that is puts in a significant connection between 309 up in Hilltown area across Hatfield, Franconia, Tomenson, and links up with the Northeast Extension. The second phase of that is actually going to be going to bid soon and under construction sometime in 2021. And again, I think that's how that impacts a lot of the warehouse development. If you're familiar with 40-foot road in Tomenson, over the years, there's been widening in Tomenson and then widening in Hatfield. And there was a little, what we call a pinch point in front of SKF where it goes back down to 1 lane. Everybody races through and you get your first finger of the morning as you're commuting to the turnpike as people try to cut into you. That is being widened as we speak. We got 2 multimodal grants to get that done. So that's being widening. They'll get that done this month or next month, but the actual repaving probably won't be done until the spring. And it'll be repaved from where it's widened all the ways down to Allentown Road because they got to kind of move the center of the crown of the roadway there. So that's a big deal. We authorized the release of the 2021 budget last night there's going to be a slight increase in taxes, a 0.75 mil increase. That's the first one in 10 years in Tomenson, and that's about a $79 increase for the median household. And what we're focusing on is to kind of beef up our road paving project. Over the last several years, I think all of us have seen the cost of paving has gone up. But also, if you start paving areas where you have to replace the ADA ramps, that takes a big chunk out of your funding to do actual road paving. But we were seeing that we were only able to pave about a mile of roadway each year, and Tomenson has over 62 miles of township-owned roads, and so you just can't continue like that because you should probably repave a road every 15 to 20 years. So we're increasing our funding to that and try to at least do a couple of miles of paving each year.
Rob, you got about 30 seconds, okay?
Okay, you show my mic off like the debate commission at the current point, that's fine. And then the last thing I have then is the pedestrian bridge, which is being put in at Fisher's Park by the waterfall. There used to be one there in the 1930s that got washed away, and the big crane was in there last week and putting it in place. So it'll open up another 23 acres of parkland across the creek there. So we're excited about that. I think that's, Chief Dickinson will be retiring at the end of this year. We'll be announcing shortly his replacement. And so he's excited about that, and I'm going to miss him.
I ran into Tim at the Wawa the other day. He is counting the days, but
yeah,
great guy.
he takes some days
Great
off
guy.
and calls them practice retirement days.
Yes. Well, for us to live in the North Penn area, that phase 2 of the 113 connector is huge.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, for the residents and businesses locally, the traffic coming off the turnpike, it's really choking our local roads and putting a lot of stress. So once that's completed, it'll make things a lot more palatable around here. So that's great news, Rob. So thank you for that. Moving to our McMahon's home office, corporate headquarters in Upper Dublin Township. Mr. Leonard, good morning. Paul.
Good morning. My name is Paul Leonard. I'm with Upper Dublin Township, and I just marked the time at 8:47 a.m. I can be very prompt on finishing up my comments. I would like to, first of all, thank all the other managers for their hard work through the pandemic. Many of them have been a resource for Upper Dublin Township and for me personally and professionally. It's been a tough time. We currently have 4 of Upper Dublin Township's employees that have tested positive in the last week or two. And we are focusing, as I'm sure my colleagues are, on service continuity. Keeping volunteer fire, ambulance, police services up, as well as code enforcement in these times has been difficult. And but there's some positive notes to that. First of all, home sales in Upper Dublin are extremely brisk. We're seeing homes sell within 5 days with multiple offers. In many cases, we've seen single family homes with as many as 30 offers. We think Upper Dublin has always led the county in terms of home price increases. We've seen 12, 15% years. This year, I think is going to even exceed that. When we look at the county's report on the values of existing single family homes, there's no doubt in my mind it's going to be above 10% increase this year. Township of Upper Dublin, along with, of course, with my colleagues in Plymouth, we collect trash and recyclables from residential customers. We've seen that increase in the course of the pandemic by about 25 to 30%. People are home, they're cooking, they're enjoying their properties, they're applying for building permits for hot tubs, generators, patios, additions, but they're also generating a lot of trash. And we've done our best to keep our trash collection team up and running, socially distanced, because we don't want to fail in that area. I mentioned permits. We're trying to maintain a processing time that's within the 15-day state limit for residentials. But all the municipalities, I think I can generalize this, are short on building inspectors, on people with the right certifications, and that's very important work. Our fire marshals are doing virtual inspections, and that's worked out real well. I did want to mention, and certainly not within our purview, but at least for Upper Dublin, which is a bedroom community, by most standards, the closing of schools again is a seismic shift for the community, not just for the parents and the kids, but for the grandparents, for everybody. And we've been working, closely with our school district. Our township park and rec operation stood up a 58 children educational support program that was isolated from the others. We're trying to open up a new library facility in Fort Washington, but we're trying to fill the needs for these kids that are home. We have seen an increase in juvenile calls. We've seen an increase in domestic issues, as well as in some cases, mental health issues. So on that happy note, I would tell you this, is that Upper Dublin Township, unlike my colleagues today, is not proposing a tax increase this year. Usually we're the one that's doing that. It is not without risk. We've drawn down our ending balances significantly. The Board of Commissioners might well have to look at a tax increase this year or next year for real estate tax, just to keep our balances up. But we maintain our AA1, Moody's rating, and things are going pretty well there. How am I doing for time? 8:51. I'd be glad to stand by for questions at the end. Thank you, Dan.
Thank you, Paul. Appreciate the update. Moving on to Whitpain Township. And one of the first guys I met many, many years ago in my former life, Roman Prosnick. How are you, sir?
Good, thank you. Thank you, Dan. One of the problems of working for a municipality that starts with the letter W, you probably heard a lot of what I'm going to say. You've heard from a lot of the other managers about roadway construction. That certainly has been a problem in Whitpain. This summer, I thought of W.C. Field's comments when he talked about going to Philadelphia and it was closed. Well, I would get calls from residents and friends saying, I tried going through Whitpain. Is there any road at all that's not under construction? At one point, 202, which is our major north-south corridor, is going through the same widening as it is in Lower Gwinnett. With that, there's some improvements on 73. Yost Road was closed for a bridge replacement project, as was Morris Road for another bridge replacement project. If there is one positive side to COVID, at least the traffic was down, so it was easier to do some of these construction projects. We still had significant delays, and very fortunate with the contractor that got the bid on 202, James D. Morrissey. They're doing a tremendous job in keeping traffic flowing and the sites safe. As far as COVID, same as everybody else, we had to remain in operation, had to get creative on how to keep employees separated. We allowed certain employees that were able to do that to work remotely from home. Obviously, we couldn't do that with police and public works, so we worked with businesses in the community college. They provided space so that we could have remote locations for our officers to report to and not all congregate at the township building. Try to help the businesses as much as possible. We suspended certain enforcement and allowed outdoor dining in areas that wouldn't be previously permitted. Supervisors, waived fees for paying with a credit card, extended tax deadlines. And we went to virtual meetings. All of our meetings, during the day and the evening with all the boards and commissions are virtual. And we certainly learned the importance of having a good IT person. We were fortunate we have a superstar that really helped, with the employees working remotely and with the meetings. We're now preparing for the second phase, as everybody else is. A lot of the solutions that we came up with for the summertime involve moving things outdoors. We now have to prepare for, single-digit temperatures and a foot of snow on the ground and still keeping the operations going. And as Paul mentioned, a lot of times when an employee is diagnosed or tests positive, there's coworkers that also have to quarantine. And, we want to make sure that we're prepared for that when it happens during snow operations and in the winter months. During all this, we're pleased to report that the township was able to acquire Mermaid Lake, a 62-acre property that was at risk of being developed. And we have opened certain portions of it for people to walk and use as passive recreation, but we're working on a master plan on what eventually will go there. We, as others, are watching our revenues, similar to what Rob Ford reported. We also don't have a business privilege tax. Our majority of our revenues come from the EIT tax, earned income tax, and also from real estate taxes. And we're keeping our fingers crossed, but we have not seen a significant decline there. The budget as presented to the supervisors does not call for a tax increase or a sewer rate increase in 2021. However, we are talking about the possibility of increasing taxes or creating a special tax for open space and recreation purposes in 2022. So that's the end of my report, and glad to answer questions at the end if anybody has any.
Thank you, Roman. Really appreciate it. My screen went blank, and when I came back, I know that White Marsh is before Whitpain, but my bad, and I skipped over my good friend and fellow golfer, Rick Malore. Rick, good morning.
Morning, Dan.
From White Marsh Township. My apologies, Ricky.
No worries, no worries. Always, it's always good to go after Paul Leonard and Roman, so appreciate that. Good morning, everybody. Thank you for having me. Rick Miller with White Marsh Township. Echo a lot of what my colleagues have been going through, no different over here in White Marsh. We still have been busy with some different land developments and other activities going on. I'll kind of walk you through quickly on some of the highlights. We do have a Starbucks that is going to be opening on Pennsylvania Ave, the Holiday Inn. It's going to have a drive-through, so all coffee lovers will be able to traverse through there. In our Flowertown section, we had a county-owned bridge, West Valley Green Bridge, which is near the Philadelphia Cricket Club. That was repaired and reopened earlier this year, so folks are very pleased about that cut through. We are in the final phases of just over 200 homes at the reserve at Creekside. Those homes currently are selling for almost $1 million. These are carriage-style homes that we are seeing continue to sell for those prices. One of the big projects as a result of that land development has been intersection improvements. I'm very pleased to say that 2 of those intersections are now complete on Stenton Avenue. One is at Stenton, Flowertown, and Cricket, and the other is on Stenton and Joshua. So you're able to move through them. There's at Stenton and Joshua, there's designated left-hand turn lanes in all 4 directions. At Stenton, Flowertown, and Cricket, there's designated left-hand turn lanes off of Stenton and designated right-hand turn lane off of Flowertown. The last intersection, which is currently underway, is Joshua and Flowertown. That is a very troublesome, anyone who's been through that intersection, very troublesome intersection. It is not teed off, and this will actually tee off the intersection and create designated left-hand turn lanes in all 4 directions there. So we're excited to get that section underway, and that should be done in the spring of 2021. We did have in Flowertown Shopping Center, which borders neighboring Springfield Township, proposal to expand more retail. So they are actually moving forward with that. That's on the side where Mr. Pease is, if you've been in that shopping center with the movie tavern. So good sign that they are still moving forward with their plans there. Also in another shopping center in Lafayette Hill, Whitemarsh Shopping Center, they just added 9,000 square foot of retail. It includes a urgent care type facility that is anchoring it. So Brixmor just completed that as well. We're looking at a new traffic signal at Flowertown and Colonial Drive. That's where our 4-5 school is. That's been a very problematic area for us. One thing to mention, driving around in this area, Germantown and Butler Pike, many of you who drive there know that Butler Pike has been closed, bordering with neighboring Plymouth Township. We're hopeful, and what we're hearing is before the end of the year, that will be open. So we're certainly keeping, I know Karen and I, keeping our fingers crossed for all the complaints we receive about that road being closed. As far as restaurants go and businesses, we've worked, as you've heard from other municipalities, we've worked with them, allowing some outdoor dining options, putting up temporary tents. Some will use that as they, with heaters and so on. So we've been trying to work with our businesses in that respect to allow them, obviously, with the colder weather, it's going to be a little more difficult. A large project that is probably going to get underway in 2021 is Ridge Pike widening. This is a Montgomery County road and Montgomery County led project. This is the phase that we're talking about here is between Crescent Avenue and Northwestern, which is in Springfield Township. That whole odds, if people are familiar with that area, it's a choke point going down from 2 lanes to 1. This will expand it to have it 2 lanes and in each direction. It's roughly going to be about a 3-year project in different phases, so very unpleasant for motorists. And that is the immediate parallel corridor to 76. So anytime there is any kind of accident or issue on 76, we are inundated with traffic, and that is the immediate parallel corridor there. So not looking forward to the construction, but the results should be good. Just to conclude a couple things, we just approved an update to our comprehensive plan focused on land use and housing. We're starting the implementation in that in early 2021. We have seen from a budgetary standpoint, we do have the business privilege tax. We've seen that decrease about 30% due to business slowdowns. What we've seen become very strong is our earned income. And a lot of that is due to the fact that people are working at home and we are able to capitalize on their earned income for folks that are working here. We're actually exceeding our budget numbers. It was mentioned about real estate. Real estate, there's no housing stock whatsoever. In White Marsh, you've heard about it in Upper Dublin and other places. We are seeing now the $500 to $1 million homes moving rather quickly. Before, in the previous years, it was, 300 was kind of the price point, 400, and then anything above that was sitting. We just had in October about $5 million homes just continue to move like hotcakes. Anything that's available, people seem to be scarfing up. So we're certainly seeing that in our real estate transfers. We will not be having a tax increase for 2021. So we're pleased about that, and hopefully the businesses and that community, we see some turnaround, going forward. I will say our Park and Rec department has been excellent with businesses, Takeout Tuesdays, promoting businesses, mental health, putting out information along those lines, because we could all certainly use that as we, the uncertainty of this pandemic continues. So hopefully everybody's staying safe, especially around the holidays. And Dan, thank you, and the chamber for your time.
Thank you, Rick. I really want to get from the boot back in the North Penn area. I was really excited. They were this close to Lansdale, and then they decided to pull back a little bit, but maybe 2021 they'll reconsider. But if anyone's ever down in the White Marsh area, you want to hit that restaurant. Terrific Italian food, as well as everybody else down there as well. So thanks, Rick. Really appreciate it. Last but certainly not least, Stacy Crandall, who is representing Worcester Township. Stacy, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How's everybody? I hope everyone's doing well. Forgive
Pass
my
along my
voice.
best to Tommy Ryan, please.
Yeah, I will. A lot of you probably know me from Montgomery Township. I spent 14 years there. I just moved to Worcester Township, and I'm happy to be part of the team. Some breaking news from just last night at our board meeting. We had a board of supervisor resign last month, and we just appointed Lou Betts to take over that position. And he actually is a business owner. He's been in the township over 30 years, and he's going to take on the remainder of the former supervisor's term. So they'll end next year, 2022. The budget is really strong here in Worcester, even though with the COVID situation, we've done well with earned income tax and real estate taxes. We still remain the lowest municipal real estate tax rate in Montgomery County. And we're not planning to go any, we're remaining steady with the taxes. We are working on a comprehensive plan update with the task force. And we're currently meeting remotely right now. However, our board of supervisors meets in person. We've gotten several grants. One of them is a DCNR grant that we did in partnership with Skip Back Township, and it's to extend the Zacharias Trail to Evansburg State Park. And the design we're hoping to begin next year, and we're hoping to construct the trail hopefully by 2022. So stay tuned for that. That trail was just added to the county Montco County Trail Challenge. So I encourage everyone to go and check out that trail. It's very nice. We've also got a multimodal grant to complete preliminary engineering design along Valley Forge Road, especially the intersections of like Woodland Avenue, Fieldcrest Way, Water Street, and Township Line and Stump Hall Road, which that intersection is really difficult because there's no turning lanes. So this is just the first step in order to improve the roadway. The other improvements that we completed this year, we improved and modernized the traffic signals at Route 73 and Route 363, as well as Germantown Pike and 363. Right now, PennDOT is paving Valley Forge Road and Morris Road. It's taking a really long time. I think it has a lot to do with the weather. Hopefully, as it gets a little warmer over the next couple of days, maybe they can get that completed. In addition, we're working with the Montgomery County Pikes to a program which McMahon is a part of as well, and to help with a regional plan to improve 6 county corridors, and one of them is Germantown Pike. So we're involved in that. We had a new business on 2750 Morris Road, which is Amazon. It's where they kind of keep all their vans and everything. So that has gone over really well so far. And in addition, I just wanted to mention, we don't have a paid police department or fire department, but we do have a volunteer fire department that does, and we have come up with a pretty innovative program here where we have a stipend program for township employees to run during the day with the volunteer fire department, which is when you need the coverage the most. And it's really worked out really well. We have 9 employees that are, it was up from, I think, 3 originally. And it's really helped us. We were doing in-house training to make sure that we're keeping the community safe. So it's been a really great program. It's something, you know, I found really unique here that we've done. So I'm happy to have any questions. I wanted to, you know, if there's anything anybody has, but I thank the chamber and I thank Dan for having me.
Thank you, Stacy. And Bravo Pizza was voted again the best pizza in the county, right?
Yes. Very good.
They have great pizza, by the way. So that's great. Thank you for the update, and appreciate your time today. And we appreciate all the managers who took time to update us on your respective municipalities. We are now at the question and answer portion of our program today. If anyone has any questions, if you don't mind to type in on the chat bar, and we will address them. So you may do that now. While you're doing that, I just want to, on behalf of the chamber, thank everyone for participating today. We want to wish everyone a blessed Thanksgiving, and we hope 2020 holiday will be a lot better than what we've experienced throughout the year. Let's see here. Let me, Pam, are you going to address the questions?
Sure, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
So the question is for those municipalities that have Amazon or will be getting Amazon distribution, please speak to the changes in traffic.
I mean, I can speak to it from Worcester's standpoint. It was part of a conditional use, and they have to do sound studies and traffic studies, which they are obligated to do, and they're in the process of doing those now. We're having them do it during the height of the season, you know, with you know, everyone doing holiday shopping and all of that. So that once they are done, so far I've heard no complaints. I mean, we did have a lot of people who weren't really for it initially and spoke up at the conditional use. However, so far it's been all right. And we're doing fine here with it. I can't speak to what other people have, but
I do have a comment about that.
Go ahead, Holly. What was that?
We don't have an actual facility at this point. Maybe that 151,000 square foot development over on Fretz Road may be an Amazon facility, but we don't know. However, we do have a developer in the township who has, or just a business owner in the township who has allowed or gone into lease with the drivers of the blue Amazon vans that we see everywhere. And they have been parking their vans in several places within the township where this gentleman owns these properties. It has become a very, let's say, very big issue, but it's also become a problem to the point that where they're parking the vans and what they're doing it's not zoned for that type of use. So we've been monitoring that closely along with contacting the developer, obviously. But we have a lot of vans on on Route 63 every single day, one right after the other going down our roads. And yeah, we've been monitoring that situation closely because we feel that will only increase. And they've been putting like, 90 some vans in a parking lot that's only supposed to hold 70. Parking calculations are always an important thing. And so we've been experiencing a lot of traffic with the delivery vans for Amazon.
And this
Thank
is
you,
Rob
Holly. Anybody
Ford.
else? Go ahead,
Rob
Rob.
Ford from Tilmenson, because as I mentioned, the fulfillment center is actually in Tilmenson, between 40-foot Road and Wambold, off of Detweiler. I guess it's been open for about 2 years. The way they present it and the way it's been operating is that the big trucks that bring all the products into the warehouse come in during the night. I think there's 8 to 16 that come in. They are going to be doing some road improvements, which we required as part of the land development at Detweiler and Gaiman Road, is where the trucks turn into, the big trucks, because they would end up going into the other lane if the turning movements weren't correct. Right. And we did some timing improvements to the traffic signal. The vans was an issue that we had to deal with too. All of a sudden they showed up at the old Tilmenson Shopping Center overnight, it seemed like, and we didn't know about it. And again, there were zoning issues there. We did know that they were working with Worcester to get, I guess, the old Ford Philco plant for their long-term thing. So they seem to have left Tilmenson and started being tucked away at little places in Lower Salford and Lansdale, but hopefully with their facility in Worcester opening up, that'll go away. As far as traffic issues, and this is my own personal experience, I was thinking you would see hundreds of vans in a row going down the road. I have not seen that yet. I think the most, and I was surprised, was the first time I saw 8 vans going down to get gas at Wawa. But the way the program is designed is the drivers of the vans show up at 6 or 7 in the morning. Their trucks are already packed and they get a list. And I thought they come and go from the warehouse, but that's not it. Is they load up and they're gone for the whole shift, and they deliver from this area all the way up towards Easton. So far I haven't seen the real bad traffic, but I suspect that this is the nature of business in the future, and what all these warehouses, whether they're Amazon or some other type of facility, is we'll be doing more shopping from home.
Thank you all. They're all good responses. Again, it's catch-22, economic development versus strains. You're right. Moving forward, this is the behavior of consumers, that they're going to be doing more and more shopping online, and we got to have the infrastructure in place to support that. So, and again, we'll all work together to make it palatable for everyone. Pam, is there any other questions?
We do, Dan. A question for Roman. What is being built on the corner of the township property at 73 and Wentz Road?
Sure, thank you. So before I answer that, I'd just like to thank Lee Berry for the nice comment in the chat about maintaining traffic flow during construction. We're fortunate, a very good contractor who's been working with us to resolve issues. But the project in front of the township building, I've been here for 24 years, and I have never gotten as many questions about any other project as I have about this one. So it's actually very interesting. We bought that property about 15 years ago in hopes of realigning the roadway. There were 2 T intersections that were offset, and we wanted to realign them so it would operate more efficiently. As PennDOT was working on the 202 widening project, it got delayed so many times that the stormwater regulations changed, and they needed additional space for stormwater management. And what we did, we offered the land to PennDOT. They're putting an underground stormwater management system, relocating the road for us, and then it'll be restored, and we'll still be able to use part of it for overflow parking for large events. But it's just about finished. The roadway improvements are done. The permanent signals are being installed, and the stormwater system should be backfilled in the next couple of days.
Thank you, Roman.
Sorry, Dan, that was my question. So Roman, why the huge concrete base? Is it an underground vault?
It's an underground vault, and then there's seepage underneath that. So we did not design it. It looked like it could withstand a nuclear blast, but we're happy that it's working out, and that you know, we got the roadway realignment project built for us. So
the road looks great. Will that be the finished condition, like what it looks like now? It's like a huge concrete pad.
Yeah, so there's actually a geogrid that'll be put in, then it's backfilled with soil, and it'll just have grass, but it will actually be more stable than it was before. And we use that area for overflow parking when we have concerts in the park and things like that. So it'll be even better than it was before.
Okay. All right. So just look like a grass corner when you're done. It'll be grass.
Yep.
Interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Is there another question, Pam?
Yes, Dan, we do. For Paul Leonard, is Twining Road Bike Park up and running?
Yes, we had a race there last week. Twining Valley Park is the former Twining Valley Golf Course. It's 115 acres. We are going to be opening, hopefully in the spring, a very large dog park. We copied a successful one that Whippane Township did, and the park's up and running. We have a collection of people that go there for sunsets and bring quite improperly bottles of wine. And the park, as all our parks, has seen anywhere from a 50 to 70% increase in daily attendance. So what is really remarkable about it, and we've collected a bunch of photos on this, we took this publicly owned golf course and allowed it to go to seed. We were careful about getting rid of some of the exotic grasses, but it's remarkable in a year, 18 months, how much wildlife has returned, how just great looking the park is. We have about a 8 to 10 year plan for making it into what a bicycle, what's called a graduated bike park. That's based upon a lot of town meetings and surveys of the community. And I think this is consistent across the townships that are and municipalities that are represented here. What we find in our surveys regionally is that people list biking as in their top 3 of recreational activities. They also, in the same surveys, will tell you that they don't want to ride on a lot of our roads because the bike lanes aren't there or they're too congested. So this park will have built into it in that long-term plan, safe places for people to walk and for every age to bicycle. And I've learned a lot about a variety of bike racing, bike tracks, from tricycles up to mountain bikes to what's called pump tracks. And we're pretty excited about it. The challenge that we're facing, and I'll just make this my last comment, is that our job is to provide services for Upper Dublin Township residents. This park does have the potential to have be a regional attraction, and we certainly will welcome other residents, but again, we want to focus on providing services for Upper Dublin residents first. But it's an exciting project. We've had great support from DEP and DCNR. Thanks for the question. And everybody should go take a look at a golf course and what it can be. Thanks.
Thank you, Paul. Pam, next question.
That's all that we have right now, Dan, unless anyone else
Okay.
has another one they just didn't type in yet.
Well, we'll give everyone one last chance to answer, to propose any question. And hearing none, we promised everyone we would be finished by 9:30. It's 9:20 right now. So we'll conclude this program. We want to thank McMahon and Chrysler Miller for their financial support of this event. Again, it's always very popular with our members, to the point now where we had to split it into 2 programs because of our footprint and our serving area has increased. And again, we cannot thank the managers enough for providing this vital update to our members. We pride ourselves in keeping everyone informed what's happening in the business community as well as the residential communities in our areas. And it's a two-way street. If we can support you in any way, please let us know, and we'll do everything we can. Want to remind the managers again, if you can promote the PPE equipment and boxes, that the care packages that we've gotten courtesy of the county commissioners, we would really appreciate it. We want to get these out to member businesses and businesses as a whole, with 100 members, or 100 employees or less. So if you can help us out with that, that would be great as well. So that being said, we're going to sign off for now. Thank you all very much. Happy Thanksgiving. We hope everyone has a blessed one, and we look forward to seeing you at a future chamber event. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.